Welcome in to Stay in Bounds, the sport podcast for the people. I'm Kari P here with K. Walton Howard. How y'all doing?
Yo,
That's good. That's good. Tonight we had two great games, two games for the history books. It was craziness. So today we're gonna start with the AFC Championship game. We had Cincinnati take it down, KC 27-24. How y'all feeling about this?
I guess unexpected because Kansas City really, honestly, shout out to Cincinnati. Good game. Way to fight through, but really Kansas City lost this game. I mean, like 23-10 going to the half. You get ball back, and then they did nothing in the second half. Drop balls. I mean, the throw at the end. Pat really didn't play that bad. His interceptions, like, it wasn't his fault. Hit receiver's hands. Like, I don't know. I think Kansas City, they lost this game. I mean, Cincinnati fought back. They played hard, but, like, how do you not close this out? How do you not close this out and then the week before do what you did? I don't know. They didn't show up today.
K-Wall?
Adjustments. That's all it came down to was adjustments. When they was down at 18 at half, like I was talking to you about earlier, I was like, somebody's going to make a run and a push, and it's going to come down to who can make adjustments. And in that locker room, the Cincinnati locker room, I know that their defensive coordinators made adjustments. If you notice in the first half, they were generating little to no pressure on Pat Mahomes. And that's what killed the Bills in the last game. Or that was that you gave him time to throw. So they dialed up the pressure, and whatever they did in the secondary, it was working because their last 8 drives in that game was punt, interception, punt, field goal, interception.
And
Kansas City did lose this game because they were up by 18. But you can't play with a team that, for one, like we just talked about this last night. They have nothing to lose. They're the Cinderella story. So regardless if they're down by 40,000 points, they're going to go out there and they're going to keep swinging until the zero set the clock. Kansas City got complacent, felt like, all right, we good. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go out here, you're going to sleepwalk through it, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to the Super Bowl regardless because we've been here. Cincinnati did the opposite, said, nah, fuck that. Until this game hits zeros right there, we're going to keep swinging. And they swing hard enough, and they're the ones going to SoFi Stadium, not Kansas City. And that's why they all look stunned on the bench.
So let's start it here. Who cost them this game? Since y'all saying Kansas City lost this game, who cost them this game? Was it a lack of coaching? Was it Pat Mahomes throwing the interception? Was it the receivers dropping ball? Who cost them this game?
Receivers dropping balls. And honestly, I'm going to put a little onus on the defensive line. Like, Cincinnati's offensive line is not good.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, Chris Jones, what are you doing? Like, first off, they had, 3 times they had Joe Burrow dead to right. And somehow Joe Burrow flips out. Like, great dude, Joe, nice play. But Chris Jones, you have Joe Burrow dead to right, and you let him come. Like, what?
And you said it last night. It was like all the I don't. That's what I was baffled when I saw. There's a play where Chris Jones had him by like the collar. He got off him, spun out, and went upfield for like 10 yards. He did it like on that same drive. He did it like twice. I'm like, what is going on? I get you can't catch Josh Allen. I get that. That's a huge dude to bring down who can move.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
Burrow was getting thrown around like a rag doll against Tennessee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, it came down to adjustments. They switched up their play calling too. You know what I'm saying? They weren't just living and dying by the deep ball with Jamar and T. Higgins. They were setting it up with mixing. When they knew that they were sitting pressure, they were sitting screen passes, little dink and dunks, and then hitting up with the big things. So they made adjustments. Kansas City, I don't know what adjustments they made. They stuck to their game plan because it was working in the first half. They was generating pressure. They couldn't even move the ball 10 yards. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't connect with the receivers, but like I said, Cincinnati made adjustments, and they deserve to be there. They deserve every right to be there. Kansas City didn't deserve to get there.
So
that's why it happened the way it happened.
So Howard, yesterday we had a little conversation about is Tyreek Hill a top 3 player? And I remember earlier in our group chat, you sent us a message asking Tyreek a top 3 player, laughing emojis. You want to expound on that?
You cannot be. So this is literally why Tyreek, like, he is explosive. He's great. He's top 10, sure. But they had the game. They throw him the ball, hits his hands, and then gets picked up. Like, come on, man. He's not even the number one on that team. I bet if Travis Kelce wasn't getting doubled like he was at the end of the game there, they were going to him and not Tyreek. But they got the matchup they liked. Tyreek got a chance, and this is how you prove that I'm top three. I'm one of the best. And quite obviously, like, come on now.
So
let's
shoot.
The last play of the. Are you talking about the last play in overtime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he had it, and then the dude came behind and hit it, and it just. But if you look at it, right, that's a little bit on Pat too, because the throw before that, Eli Apple almost had a walk-off pick to the end zone.
Yeah, facts.
He jumped the route, and Pat was doing stuff that Pat doesn't usually do because they were able to generate pressure. They hit him a couple times, and once the second half started, Pat didn't have a clean pocket. All that millions of dollars they spent on the offensive line, they couldn't hold back those dudes. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a clean pocket the rest of the game. Against the Bills, he had time to throw the entire game, so he wasn't worried about getting blindsided or anything like that. So he was looking down his receiver when Eli Apple almost picked that off. And then he wanted to get – and this has been his problem all year, and the reason why they've stumbled so much is he wants to get everything in one play. Yeah, so instead of him trying to set up a fourth and manageable or something like that, he wanted to go for the deep ball and go for the kill. So he threw it to Tyreek in double coverage. And, I mean, he just happened to get picked off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Pat Mahomes turned back into I want to be superhero Pat. I feel like he got up big. He was feeling himself. Instead of like the game plan he had with the Bills where he was just dunking it down, digging it down, just getting the yards, getting the first downs, I think he turned back into I want to be the superhero Pat. But let's move on to the other side of the ball. Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty. We got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. We got Mixon. Mixon had a good game today. Let's talk about them guys. What did they do well today?
So T. Higgins, I called it. I was like, hey, man, at number 2 corner spot, that's suspect. It is. He cooked them. I mean, I think in the first half, T. Higgins was cooking, and they started to roll a little bit coverage over to him, realizing, hey, we need help over there. That kind of opened up Jamar Chase. I mean, his touchdown at the end of the game, I mean, that's just Jamar Chase doing Jamar Chase things. I mean, it was good coverage. He made a hell of a catch. I'm not gonna lie.
He's a monster.
Joe Burrow, I mean, he did something I didn't think he was gonna be able to do. He got outside the pocket. He had like 30, 40 yards rushing. Like he scooted a little bit. And when it mattered, he made throws. I mean, that throw to Jamar Chase, threw it up, gave his receiver opportunity, money. So, hey, you got to give hats off to Joe. It's a tough place to play, tough building, and he did it, man.
Carol?
Well, first thing I want to say is, I apologize. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. For anyone that didn't listen to me last night and put all their money on the Bengals, like I said. You know what I'm saying? The writing was on the wall, like I said. Everything I said that could have possibly happened was going to happen. That they would have played the level of competition, and then they had to play hero ball. All right, that. And it worked last week. It worked last week against the Bills for some reason. It worked last week. There's some storybook shit that happened last week. It didn't happen this time. Because you got T. Higgins, right? 6 for 103. Jamar Chase, 6 for 54. But, I mean, allowed 6 for 54 because that 6 for 54 down the stretch was a game changer because it opened up T. Higgins to make some big catches on third downs. All right, that. Samaje Perine, that touchdown before half kind of gave some momentum. That 44 yard for the before half. Joe Mixon, chunk plays, chunk play after chunk play, chunk yards, chunk play after chunk play. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Boyd wasn't really a factor as much, but they didn't really need him to be a factor because if they shift the focus to T. Higgs, now it's going to Jamar Chase. If they shifted to Jamar Chase, it's going to T. Higgs as far as passing wise. And then they set up the play action with Joe Mixon. They had him on their heels the entire game once that second half started because they said, fuck it. We're going to go all out. We're going to throw everything at them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, at least we're not going to go down getting blown out by Kansas City at Arrowhead.
All right, let me ask y'all, where do y'all feel like Joe Mixon ranked in the elite running backs with the top running backs? Do y'all think he up there? Do y'all think he a mid-tier running back? Where y'all think Joe Mixon is at?
I think he's like when he's on, he's like a tier 2 running back.
So tier 1, we going with
tier 1 would be like Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook,
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Is Alvin Kamara still there?
CMC.
Do you think Alvin Kamara is still there after this season, or do you think? Because I got an interesting take on Alvin Kamara. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like Drew Brees made him, but that may be a hot take. I don't know.
But I mean, I get what you're getting at. But if you look at the games with him and without him, I mean, they were getting rolled.
Yeah.
He accounted for like 70% of the success on offense as a running back. That's an unheard of number since like Barry Sanders or something like that.
So
he is literally their everything. He is their best receiver and their best running back. So he's invaluable.
So we're gonna keep him at top tier. You don't think he's
tier one is Taylor, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, CMC when healthy. Tier 2, you could throw in Mixon, Eckler, like those kind of guys, you know?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna go to the defense. What are the changes y'all saw in the second half from the first half as far as Cincinnati and defense?
I mean, Cincinnati, they wanted to play coverage, and that's been a weak spot of their team the entire time. The most successful games they had all year is when they were able to generate pressure and make the quarterback make tough throws, and that's what they did today. They took advantage of their best ability to generate pressure and make Pat Mahomes make tough throws. Because at the end of the day, all these guys are NFL players. You know, they're all skillful players. That's why they're on the field. You know, so a lot of these, 50-50 balls right there. Yeah, Kelsey may catch one right there, but there might be a chance where somebody might pick it off right there. And that's what happened today. There was a chance where Tyreek could have made an amazing play and caught that. We'd be talking about something different, but he didn't, and they got a pick. So those 50-50 balls are 50-50 balls because it could go either way. But when you put yourself in a position where it's not a dime, you know what I'm saying, where he's just picking you apart and throwing dimes, and that's what it was in the first half. They wanted to sit back in coverage and try and keep everything in front, and they were getting cooked. They didn't know if they were to attack the run, shadow the quarterback, sit back in coverage. The only thing they weren't doing was generating pressure. And I feel like that was the thing that they got back to in the second half, and that's what shifted the momentum, was that they were able to go blow for blow with them because the defense got stop after stop after stop after stop after stop, held them to a field goal in the second half. And with a high-powered offense like the Chiefs, that's unheard of.
Howard?
Defensive line stepped up after the half for sure. I was really surprised with the secondary. Secondary in the first half, they kind of, I don't know, the moment was a little bit too big for them or something. In the second half, they were on like press man. They were on these receivers. They were riding them. They were giving cushion where they needed to, right? Like they gave a little bit of cushion to Nicole and Tyreek because you have to. But for the most part, everyone else, they were pretty glued on them. Like there was no easy catches to be made. They weren't just going to give yards for free. They were going to make them make good catches. And I think the secondary really stepped up in the second half. That was kind of the big thing. That's kind of like shut them down because the front four, they did pretty well against the run. They held their own, and no one was like play action. Like no one was surprised. Like he's keeping the ball. Like they're not running.
Yeah, and I'm giving myself a little pat on the back. I said it'll come down to a Miss Fierce field goal to win the game. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back. All right, so we're going to talk about Joe Shiesty right now and the young AFC quarterbacks right now. I think we'll all agree that Pat is probably at the top of that. We got Josh Allen, we got Herbert, we got Joe Burrow. Name some more. Lamar.
That's about it. That's probably about it. But there's them really.
Derek Carr is solid. Where do Joe Burrow rank with these? I think we'll all agree that Pat is at the top. But do you think Joe Burrow jumped to that number 2 spot with this win?
In tiers?
No, not in tiers. So for a while it's Pat at the top. Then we said Josh Allen. Then Lamar. Then Joe Burrow has got kind of looked over. Do you think he jumped into that second spot with this win, or where do you think he at now?
So are we going off of success, or are we just going off of just natural ability as that player, regardless
off of his success, off his play? We're all fantasy guys. We're all in the league together. If you had the chance to draft Joe Burrow over Josh Allen, would you do it?
Nah. I couldn't. It's just like. Okay, so Pat is the epitome of the epitome. Until someone does what he's done in the short little bit of time he's been in the league, there's no question about it. You can't say. I mean, the dude's won MVP, NFL MVP. I mean, Super Bowl MVP, All Pro, all that stuff. So that's different. Let's get that out the way. Pat's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, I put Josh Allen there. for one reason is, I mean, the intangibles are just like he's like his ceiling is like limitless.
Yeah.
His success is not based on his own accord because he'll be successful wherever he goes. His success is based on what the team puts around him. That's where his success will be limited, is what he puts around him. The difference with Joe Burrow is the team has put around him everything at his disposal to make him successful. You know,
he has everything.
Like if Josh Allen had the defensive line that the Bills had, if Josh Allen had the defensive line that Cincinnati had today, it'd be a different ball game. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, right? So after the Bills-Chiefs game, right, there was a lot of conversations. They were saying, oh, this is going to be the next Brady and Peyton, But Josh Allen hasn't been able to get over that hump yet when Joe Burrow has. So do you not take that into account? Do you not feel like that's impressive, or what were you thinking?
It's very impressive, but Joe Burrow is not the sole reason why the Bengals won today. Yeah. You know, and Josh Allen isn't the sole reason why the Bills lost last Sunday.
It's a team game, so obviously you're gonna need your team around you. But the quarterback gets the credit. It don't matter like win, lose, draw. The quarterback is the guy who gets the credit. So if we sitting here and Joe Burrow lost today, Joe Burrow lost that game. He won that game. It's never going to be another position. We're not going to say, oh, Joe Mixon lost that game. We're never going to say, we're never going to say Eli Apple lost that game. We're going to say Joe Burrow lost that game. So what are y'all thoughts on that?
All right. So I'm going to take this perspective. Like if I had a choice, right, and they're like, all right, Pat Mahomes is gone. You can't get him. You need a quarterback to start your future. I'm going Josh Allen. And then 3, if Josh Allen isn't there, yeah, I think Joe Burrow took it. Because, like, Justin Herbert, like, he's really nice. Like, we've seen, but he also has a lot of tools around him. I don't know. That team, I think, is a little cursed. Next year, we'll see. Next year is a big year for him. Lamar, I don't know. Like, Lamar, I think, he holds down the 5 spot because I think I would take Justin Herbert over Lamar right now. Just, I don't know. It's tough. Like, it's tough because, like, I don't think Lamar has.
Even though Justin Herbert hasn't done anything, he hasn't made them any better or gotten them anywhere. They haven't made the playoffs since he's been there. Lamar's gotten them to the playoffs, won an MVP. Like, you're really going to put Herbert over him because of what? Because he's a prototypical quarterback and Herbert, he can make throws that Lamar can't.
You know why he's doing it.
Who impacts the game more? Herbert, is he a product of the system that he's in, and he's surrounded by a lot of talented players that can change games on their own? Or are you going to look at Lamar, who's made a lot of heroic things happen, but because he's not a prototypical quarterback like Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen, it doesn't get looked at in the same light. So I can't put Herbert over.
You know why he's doing it. Herbert is a less athletic Josh Allen. That is why he's doing it. Herbert, they both tall, they're big, they're strong armed. Herbert is a less athletic Josh Allen, so you know why he's doing that.
I don't know. Honestly, if you can make the argument, and I'm not going to tell you wrong, that Lamar should be over Herbert. To me, personal preference, I don't know. Lamar's running ability, no one can touch it. I'm not even like that. It's unreal. It's fun to watch. But I don't know if it's – next year we'll see because he's got Bateman and he looks like a pretty good receiver. So next year we'll see if he can turn into more of a passer or at least be a little bit more effective passing the ball. Because if he could do that –
when he got hurt.
Everybody
started snapping when he got hurt.
That's why I was like, eh. But like next year's a big year for Lamar. I think it's a huge year for Lamar.
I think it's make or break for him. I think it's make or break for real.
Because everyone quit on Baker. No, it's Baker. Yeah,
because
I don't think they're going to exercise his option.
It's got to be make or break for Lamar because it's either he gets paid next year or he gets tagged. It's one of the two.
Do you not feel like Lamar proved a lot more this year? He made Hollywood look very solid, had a very nice season. He had Mark Andrews. He hit Mark Andrews a lot for touchdowns. That's the best receiver they have. I think they need to do a better job of getting receivers in there.
A lot of touchdowns. I don't know if you watched those games. A lot of them touchdowns to Mark Andrews was some superhero shit that he was doing.
But
that one against
the
Browns, he caught it with his thigh. Like
true. But as a tight end, that's to me that's what separates the Kelce's, the Kittles, the Mark Andrews from the Darren Wallers. they're supposed to like go and be aggressive, big pass catchers and go try to make them catches. It may not be perfect to you, it may not whatever, but you're the aggressive, you're bigger than most guys, where you gonna go and fight for them catches, you know. That's where Darren Waller, that's why I cannot get my mind around why they put Darren Waller in the same conversation. Because if it's not perfect to Darren Waller just gonna let that sell over his head.
I mean, he had us fooled that first game.
Yeah, he had everything.
I thought I was the smartest man in the room after that first game, and then you watch him like it'll be there. Somebody will tap his arm, he'd be like,
yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, all right. Final thoughts on this game. What where y'all feeling?
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Can I make one point about the quarterback thing? There's just one more dude we ain't talked about.
Go ahead.
Regardless of his legal situation or whatever like that. If Deshaun Watson didn't have a legal situation going on, right, and you could throw Deshaun Watson in the mix, where would you place him amongst all the dudes we just talked about? Because those are about the best ones in the AFC.
To me, he I think he's number 2. If we're placing him, I think he's better than I would want him on as a Carolina Panther. We do not have no quarterback, and if we had the choice and we could have Josh Allen or Deshaun Watson, I want Deshaun Watson.
Because I was gonna put him 3. I was gonna put him 3 over Josh. That's
so okay. How can I put this? Josh Allen is a physical specimen, right? So he's bigger than everybody. He can just throw people off him, whatever. I've seen Deshaun Watson getting sandwiched by 2 guys and still stay up. And he's not as big as him. He's not as big as Josh Allen. He's not whatever. So with Josh Allen, I like him, and I think he's a great quarterback, right? But me personally, if I had to choose for Carolina Panthers, we could have either one. I would take Deshaun Watson. I think the upside, I think he's just a winner. I think he got the intangibles to get us there, and I'll take Deshaun Watson personally.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. Everything Josh Allen does, Deshaun Watson can do. There's some things that Deshaun Watson can do better than him as far as like running and elusiveness. You know, they're both great leaders. They command a locker room. Everything you want in a quarterback, those 2 dudes possess. But it's something about like, and I'm not trying to stroke you off, Howard. It's something about Josh Allen. When I see him play, it's like he got that mentality, and the way he plays, it make you want to like I said last, it make you want to run through a wall from. You know what I'm saying? That I just see like when he goes and he truck sticks a linebacker and he gets up and his chin straps off, and he snaps some things back up. And everyone's like, you know, It's some things that aren't recorded. There's some things that aren't recorded on the stat sheet that go into like, you know, you're not wrong with either one. Like Deshaun, when his head's on straight, Deshaun, amazing, great talent. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about him with you know, losing the locker room or guys not respecting him. Same thing with Josh Allen. I would take Josh right now. The what he's becoming I like what he's turning into. I like what he's becoming.
And you can't be wrong. You're either way, like you said, you're not wrong. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna move on. Let's move on into this NFC Championship game where we had the Rams versus the Niners. The final score 20-17. Let's get your thoughts on it.
Well, I decided to put out. I called this because I knew. I was waiting for the pick. I thought it was going to happen earlier, Ramsey, but it happened a little bit later. But I mean, Jimmy G did Jimmy G things. I mean, he cost them the game because really the Niners like really outperformed the Rams for a good part of this game. I mean, they had the lead and everything going, and then when they needed Jimmy G just to make a couple plays, I mean.
Dude, I wanted to believe it wasn't gonna happen. I was like, is he about to throw a clean game? Is he really about to pull this shit off? And then you see it, and then it's like it's arguable because it was tipped, but it was like he didn't give the guy a chance either. And it was just like it was whatever.
Just take the sack, man.
Yeah. So like, congratulations to all the Rams fans. Good for y'all.
All the Rams fans that came out this year.
But if y'all took that plus 3.5 right that, I hope you're happy because you got that one too. So if you would have combined them both together, like I said last night, you might have had a good day today.
Well, since everybody patting yourself on the back, if you would just listen to me, you would know the Super Bowl last night. But
he did call the Super Bowl last night. Yeah.
But so is it time to move on for Jimmy G?
Yes, I mean
the writing's on the wall.
He's the reason they lost. He is the reason. Debo somehow scored a touchdown. He still did Debo things. They ran the ball well. Their defense was outstanding for most part. Fred Warner looked like he was. I don't know what he took for the game, but he was everywhere. Fred Warner was everywhere. Bosa had a great game. I mean, they shook Matt Stafford for a while, but I was like, oh, Matt does not look good. Like I thought they were gonna pull it off. I was like, wow.
Dude,
but I mean,
when Stafford threw that moon ball so terrible, and the dude had it in his hands, I was like, okay, yeah, they're leaving the door open now.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, they have the person to match up with him, but they have more playmakers, and that's exactly what happened tonight. Their playmakers made plays. OBJ was making immaculate catches. Cooper Kupp scored 2 tutties.
Two.
There's only so much you can suppress a team like that has really no holes on it. And the reason why for it to last as long as it did under the suppression that they had on them, it was like astonishing. Like, yo, they're playing a perfect game. That's what they had to do to win. Like you said, they have to play a perfect game. And at the very end, of course, like he literally just got himself traded.
Well, whatever
you want to call it. Like,
let me ask you: is Jimmy G still a starter in this league, or is he now?
Absolutely.
You think he'll back up?
Absolutely not. I'd pull the plug. Like, you ain't got nothing to lose. Like, the dude's oozing potential. Worst come to worst, y'all go 6-10. But at least you know what you got.
No. I'm saying, but Jimmy G still a starter in this league. Is
someone will give him a chance.
Someone will. You think he's still a starter, Carol?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to give Andy Dalton a chance, I mean, Jimmy G just got the championship. Like, somebody will give him a chance. Somebody's going to strike out on every quarterback, and somebody's going to give him a chance. Like whoever needs a QB.
So if you're let's say Pittsburgh, Houston, if they trade Deshaun, do you think Jimmy G is a fit there, or what are you thinking there?
He wouldn't last in Pittsburgh. The locker room would tear him apart.
Yeah.
Environment to play into. The fans will rip him apart.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think perfect scenario for Jimmy to keep winning, and maybe like if Denver doesn't get Aaron Rodgers, plug him in there. I think they might go play. Honestly, I don't think he wins anywhere, because like the situation he had in the Niners with the coaching staff and the players and the defense, like, you're not going to get that anywhere else. Like,
let me throw a couple more teams. What about, let's say, Tampa Bay or the Saints?
No.
So
yeah, no.
So Jimmy, so y'all basically saying, what y'all say? So y'all saying he's still a starter, but y'all don't know a situation where to put him.
I'm thinking about situations he's going to thrive, and there's not many. I mean, worst comes to worst, Miami might give him a shot. The Saints, they still have Jameis, and I don't know if they still believe in Jameis. Who else? Like Denver. A lot of these teams, we got to wait for the Aaron Rodgers thing to go down.
You got to think whoever's going to acquire him is on the hook for $20 million. Who wants to pay this man $20 million also? Somebody will, but I don't think if you're going to pay a quarterback $20 million, I'd rather shoot my shot at the top tier guys that could be possibly available. That'd be like a last resort, kind of thing.
He will get traded last resort when Deshaun Watson's scenario goes down, or if it ever does. When Aaron Rodgers makes a decision, Tom Brady makes his decision, all these, Baker might not get his 5th-year option. Like, when all these decisions are made and everyone's like, all right, who's left? That's when Jimmy G is going to get a call. Like, no one's jumping out and be like, well, no, I think Jimmy G's the guy. He's that last minute 2 a.m. you up text like, hey man,
it's like, yo, are we gonna roll out Blaine Gabbert, or do we want to throw a third or second rounder to to San Francisco for Jimmy? All
right, so moving on to the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford got his win. It's looking like Matthew Stafford is finally a playoff winning quarterback. What are y'all thoughts on that?
First half, no, I was scared. I was like, what is going on, Matt? But second half, he turned it around. I mean, Cooper Kupp, man, he's different. I don't understand it. The dude is money. He's money in big situations. I mean, he got his 2 touchdowns, but the play that stood out for me, They had like a 3rd and 10. This is another thing I talk about Sean McVay's coaching. They ran a screen. And I'm like, what are you doing? And Cooper Kupp muscled it and still got like 15 yards. I was like, all right, this dude, like, he really is. He's super talented. OBJ made some big catches. Yeah, there's questionable decisions. And like, McVay didn't coach well at all. I actually, when you see the group chat, like, I was like, what is he doing? The challenge, the screen passes on 3rd downs, like, I didn't think he was aggressive enough, but I mean, maybe he knew in the back of his mind, Jimmy's due for one. But yeah, Matt Stafford in the second half, he solidified himself. I think he's got a real good chance of winning this ring this next 2 weeks from now, because the Bengals offensive line is going to have a hard time.
Yeah. They gonna have a field day next week with
that's gonna hurt.
But like you said, he struggled in the first half. I think the lights were a little too bright for Matt Stafford in that first half because he's never been there before. And even in the second half, he made some questionable decisions. Like he got bailed out. Like he literally got bailed out. You know what I'm saying? Because of a couple of plays. But like we've been saying, playmakers make plays, and that's what Cooper Kupp did. He made plays when his team needed him the most, and Stafford stomached it. Yeah, the thing that separates him from Jimmy G is he made his mistakes. He didn't let it consistently continue on. He made a mistake. He'll make a good throw. He threw the moon ball, made a good throw, converted.
Yeah, he threw it dime to OBJ.
Jimmy G will take a sack, throw it into somebody's shoelaces, and then throw a pick. Like it's one after the other. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Stafford, he proved something to everyone that they're for real, they're serious. No one thought that they were being serious before this, which I think everyone was. And I think he proved something to himself that even when the lights are bright, I can make mistakes or whatever like that, but the play calling, the coaching, everything's going to put me in a position to still be successful. As long as I do my part and make good throws. And that's what he did. He did his part. He made his good throws. I think they have a really good shot to win the Super Bowl. But like I said, I would not. Look, you know who I'm voting for. I'm going for the Bengals. I love the Cinderella story, underdog stuff, because if they're going to struggle with Jimmy G and the Niners for 3 quarters, they're going to have their hands full with Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow can come back down by 18 and hold KC, which I'm more afraid of their offense than the Rams, to 3 points for a quarter, I think they're going to have their hands full with Burrow and the boys.
So let me ask you this. Where do Cooper Kupp rank at with these top receivers?
Coming into next season?
Like right now, Cooper Kupp right now, where is he ranking out with these top receivers? Are you taking Cooper?
You have to put him at number 1. He's got the triple crown. You can't put anyone above him. Devontae's great. Jamar's great. All these dudes you can't put anyone up there with him.
Cool. So so right now going in next season, so you're telling me that Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in the league.
So what do you want me to answer going into next season, or you want to answer right now?
Going into next season, sure.
Going into next season, there's going to be a regression. So I'm going to say Devontae Adams, but right now it's Cooper Kupp. But there will be a regression. I don't know if he can repeat this and keep this up at this pace, you know what I'm saying, that he's at, these 10, 12 catches a game.
So where's he ranked at? Do you think yesterday we had that talk about top 3 receivers. Will you admit now that he's top 3, or do you still not think he's there? Do you think he's 7 out of 10 out of the top 10? Do you think he's definitely top 5. He's definitely top 5 for sure. So let me ask you, are you taking him over Devontae Adams?
No.
Are you taking him?
Are we talking about going into next season?
Yeah, sure. I'm
saying
it
depends on
if he's top. If where you say he's top 5, I'm asking you where is he at? Will you take him over Devontae Adams?
No,
I can't.
Would you take him over D-Hop?
Yes.
You would take him over D-Hop. Would you take him?
It hurts me to say it.
Would you take him over Tyreek Hill?
Would I say yes? Absolutely. Yes. He might not have cheetah speed, but the boy's gonna catch the ball when it comes here. That's one thing. He's a lock.
Will you take him over Mike Evans?
Let's clear the air. All right, that pass, he was running across the field. He jumped up full vertical across his body. The dude smacked it from behind, and it just happened to fall on the guy's lap. That's a tough catch for anybody to make. At 5'10", that's an extremely tough catch for him to make. If it was Stephon Diggs and that happened to him, you'd be celebrating the Bengals defense rather than blaming it on Stephon Diggs, and you know it.
So would you take him over?
It's a
Would you
tough
take him
catch
over
for
Stephon
anybody.
Diggs? Would you take him over Stephon Diggs?
Right now, yeah, I mean, right now, I don't know how he's making these plays, but he's making them, man.
So would you take him over Stephon Diggs? Yes. What about you?
Yes, because the dangerous thing that I think him and Devontae Adams possess is that everyone knows where the ball is going, and they're still going to catch it. That's the crazy thing. 3rd and 10, you know where the ball is going. You know that he's going to throw it to Cooper Kupp, and he still gets it. Like,
So I got 3 more guys: Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Are you taking Cooper Kupp over these guys?
maybe not Jamar Chase next season. I feel like because
I'll
the
take Jamar.
regression with, I feel like there might be a little regression with Cooper Kupp. And I feel
So
like Jamar Chase
you telling me with a little, if you're saying a little regression, you're telling me he's from 2,400 yards to 2,000. That's a little regression. a 2,000 yard season is, you know
he
what I
didn't have a
mean?
2,000-yard season though.
Yeah. I believe it was 2,400 or something like that, wasn't it? Because he had
2,400 receiving yards.
Yeah, because I think Debo had 2014. I think he had 24. I want to say.
I'm gonna fact check this right now for y'all.
Yeah, because I think the record's like 19 something or 18.
And he broke
something.
it because you got to think they had a
Yeah,
extra game.
he had
They had an extra
19. He had 1,947 yards.
Oh, 1920. Where did I get the 24? I think they would add it. I was watching something earlier. I think they were adding his playoffs with it. They probably added.
2,400. It's only been 2 games in the playoffs. God damn.
I don't know.
I don't know. Dudes, all these guys are monsters. Like, really, like, if you had your pick of, like, Devontae Cooper, Jamar Chase next year, you can't go wrong with either one of them. Because, like, if
I
had
think
to
what makes
rate
Cooper
them
Kupp
1
so
to 3,
dangerous.
huh?
I think what makes him so dangerous is because he's not on the outside, right? So he's not going to see your number one corner. It's where he plays. I think that's what makes him so dangerous.
And he's so
in the slot.
shifty, dude. He's shifty. Like you know how Renfro is like real shifty or whatever like that. He's got that same thing, but it's like his hands are like for sure.
Yeah.
So fantasy wise, I wouldn't be mad at someone if they took him number 1 overall because he's gonna rack.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
over Jonathan Taylor. Over Jonathan Taylor, you're telling me you're going to take Cooper Kupp over Jonathan Taylor?
Because you know it's going to him. You know he's going to get force fed. If they can't bring OBJ back, especially, you know that's going to him because he's proven time and time
if
out.
they win the Super Bowl, OBJ is not coming back.
I'm saying if they don't have the money to resign him, because OBJ every game they keep winning and OBJ keeps looking good, his value is going up.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to throw 15 ins at him in the offseason or something like that.
But they don't need OBJ, and people keep forgetting the reason they went and got him is because Robert Woods got hurt. So Robert Woods is going to come back.
They had him before Robert Woods. You remember? And then he got hurt that same week. You remember? He got hurt.
They signed OBJ, and literally like 2 days later, Robert Woods towards they sit in practice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something crazy like that. But I mean, I don't know, man. Cooper Kupp. So what it sounds like is he's number 3. That's what I'm getting from y'all. It sounds like what I'm getting from y'all is Howard. It sounds like you're saying he's number 2, and K-Well, it sounds like you're saying he's number 3.
No, I'll take D-Hop over him still.
Yeah, well, okay. So I might add that backwards. You're saying number 3, and K-Well saying number 2. Because a lot of guys, you said you wouldn't take Jamar Chase. You said, but I mean,
because next year. That's a big year, so I'm a little skeptical of Jamar Chase. But next year, like, I'm excited to watch him play because.
So I would because you see what Justin Jefferson did his second year. He had a great first year, and he came back and followed up with a great second. Yeah. And we're at a point where we're trusting Burrow over Kirk Cousins. I trust Burrow a lot more over Kirk Cousins. So if we're at that point, I don't really see no regression there. So all right, me and K-Wall had a conversation earlier, and this just gonna go back to the Bengals real quick. We had a conversation earlier about what you think they should do with Tyler Boyd. I say they should move on from Tyler Boyd and try to go get Joe Burrow in line. What about y'all?
Yes. If Joe Burrow's going to be here 10 more years, you're going to need a little bit more help on the offensive line. And they didn't even need Tyler Boyd today. So you beat the best team in the AFC, and you didn't even use him. So go get someone you'll use, a lineman. Please save this man. The thing is,
Tyler Boyd's he's not impeding them from getting these linemen. They're just not signing him. They're not drafting him either. That's their own fault. They signed Tyler Boyd to an extension. I think it was last season or this season, and he's only making $11 million against the cap. So he's not like making stupid money where it's like, okay, well, he's a cap casual. We got to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? He plays his role. He plays the slot. He's the third receiver on the team. Yeah, he's making $11 million, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not his fault he got that extension. And it's not his fault that they drafted Jamar Chase rather than drafting a lineman. And because they didn't draft that lineman and got Jamar Chase, I think it's helped them get to where they're at. Now,
so now they already got Jamar Chase. They already got the number one receiver. Now you got to build that line. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
they could do that through the draft cheaply. They don't have to cut nobody or anything like that. I mean, the guys on online today that are like having issues, I would tell them to kick rocks and getting somebody else in there, you know. But you don't have to cut anyone from your offense because it all works. It's a cohesive unit. It all works together. Not everyone's going to pop off for 100 yards a game. I mean, it's clear. Higgins and Chase are the alphas. You know what I'm saying? Before Chase showed up, Boyd was the alpha last year. Higgins was coming into his own, and Higgins is blown up now.
So let me ask you, can Tyler Boyd be replaced with Cole Beasley?
Yeah.
You know, can Tyler Boyd be replaced with a Hunter Renfrow?
Yes.
Yeah, the Raiders are going to come up offering.
No, I'm not saying necessarily them players, but I'm saying them type of players. If you can replace a Tyler Boyd and go get you a Trey Hill and get you a nice offensive lineman, why wouldn't you do that?
Here's the thing, right? So linemen, they take there's very few linemen that walk in the league, and there's a couple that walk in the league, rookies, and are shut down, lockdown guys. It takes a couple of years for them to get there, right? And this team is in a now mentality, right? So going to draft a rookie, yeah, in a couple of years he'll be a good guy, but right now you need someone that is going to step in and play tackle, right or left tackle. Right now, good, like very well, at least at a high level. And losing Tyler Boyd, you can draft someone in the third round, a shifty receiver, and you can sign someone cheap because Cole Beasley might be out in the market. There's talk we're going to cut him. So you can go find a slot guy, right? And for finding someone that can protect your quarterback, because Joe Burrow in like 2 years is going to get paid. So you protect your future investment. You have to get.
They already let him tear his ACL once.
Fact.
Yeah, don't do that again.
But there's going to be guys in the market like Teron Armstead from the Saints is going to be out there. You know, I don't know if they have the cap space to land somebody like him, but he's going to command a big contract. Maybe those guys on Dallas might be a cap casualty. One of them or two of them, you know, might be out there. But I mean, if you could, I mean, the guys that are getting drafted are stepping in the league and making, you know, noise are usually like high draft picks, like Wirfs for Tampa Bay, Rashawn Slater for the chart. Like those kind of guys were like high first round picks, you know, and Cincinnati's going to be drafting at the back of the draft. So I don't know.
So to me, Tyler Boyd services are no longer needed in that offense. Because when you have a Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, and you got a CJ Uzomah, do you really need Tyler Boyd?
For his price point, if he wasn't making $11 million a year, I don't think we'd be talking about, oh, we need to get rid of Tyler Boyd to get a lineman. If he was on a rookie contract, it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't.
Facts, and that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, Tyler Boyd, he's getting paid like a nice number two. His price point is a nice number two, but they have a number two. And then honestly, with CJ Uzomah stepping up, I think CJ Uzomah is going to be a nice tight end. He's going to be that nice middle of the pack tight end. I feel like his comps are, I'll say a Hawkinson. I feel like that's where CJ Uzomah's like comps are. I think that's where he would be at next year. So are Tyler Boyd's services really needed anymore at his price point? When you can move on. Yes, you can draft that first round lineman, but you can also go pay for another lineman or trade Tyler Boyd and get you another lineman at that price point.
What do you think you're going to get on the trade market after this kind of down season for $11 million slot receiver? What do you expect?
Oh, you can get it. Yeah, I mean, there are teams like the Raiders. Maybe not the Raiders. They need an outside guy, but there are teams that will give up a second round, maybe a third rounder, and that's fine. But you save that $11 million, so you can go sign an Armstead. You save that $11 million, so you can go sign that offensive lineman. It's rather a straight head up for him. You know what I mean? Because like he's worth that money, but in this offense, he's not. Does that make sense? Like, yes, Tyler Boyd's worth $11 million, but in this offense, he's not. Because you also have to think, right? Burrow's going to get paid. Jamar Chase is going to get paid. T. Higgins is about to get paid. and all of these contracts are coming up like right around the corner from each other. Like I think it goes T. Higgins and Burrow and then Chase. That's how that's going to go down.
Yeah.
And they're all going to get back.
There's going to be like 2-3 off seasons in a row. They're going to get slammed with maxing these dudes out because these guys are like these guys are studs.
Yeah,
you know,
so
they've drafted well offensively. I mean, they already signed Mixon. He's locked up, so you don't got to worry about that. But who is that offensive tackle they have that they drafted like number 1 or like top 5 like a long time ago? He's still there. Not Lane Johnson, but
they traded for Cordy Glenn from us, and he's not doing so hot. No, so you have to, as a GM, you have to think like, hey, I need to sign this lineman now, and I need to front load his contract, right? So later on, I'm not worried about the salary he's making because I front loaded everything, so I can sign these guys. You have to make these decisions now. Like holding on to Tyler Boyd and that $11 million and not getting a lineman. That's you're just gambling.
I'm not putting Joe Burrow up against TJ Watt 2 times a year without this lineman going into next year.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett 2 times. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting my franchise in just to save Tyler Boyd. That's not where.
But do you think they involve Joe Burrow in that decision of Tyler Boyd leaving or going? Because you could take the platoon approach with the line. Some teams have done it and it's worked. Some teams it hasn't. You know, you could take the platoon approach and get a bunch of okay guys and just keep cycling them out. You know, keep fresh legs out there.
You just proved that you can make a Super Bowl this year. That's what you just proved. So now anything for the Phoenix Suns, you're a Phoenix Suns fan, right? Y'all proved that y'all can make it to the championship last year. Y'all the number 1 seed, but I bet you don't even care about that. Nothing else matters except making it to the championship now. You know, it's a different level. It's a different level where we're at. We can't just keep pushing Joe Burrow out there behind this line and let him get beat up. Yo, you let him take 9 sacks against Tennessee. Yo, that's your franchise. That's your franchise. So imagine him taking 9 sacks against Cleveland and 4 of them coming from Myles Garrett. Or you let him take 9 sacks from fucking Pittsburgh and 4 of them coming from TJ Watt. You're not letting that happen.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen.
It's gonna. I think. I don't want to preview the Super Bowl too early, but Von Miller and Aaron Donald and that front four. I hope it doesn't. I hope Joe Burrow can stay healthy and stay not on his backside. But man, it's not looking good because the way Aaron Donald was acting at the end of the game today.
But I mean, they held their own today a little bit. I think he got sacked once today. You know,
yeah,
they like I said, they adjusted. They switched the play calling up. They didn't let him just, if it wasn't there, they had Mixon there to dump it off to, or they had Drew Sample right there to dump it off to. When they were in Tennessee, they wanted to hit the home run ball every single time right then. He was back there getting smacked.
That's not Aaron Donald. That's not Myles Garrett. That's not TJ Watt. That's not these guys, and I'm not letting my franchise go through that because you gonna throw Ryan Finland out there again? When Joe Burrow tear JCL again?
But I mean, y'all want to talk about cutting Tyler Boyd? What about all them sorry ass corners they got that they each gave over 10? Like Awuzie, they paid him. They got Trey Wayans, who's not even out there. They gave him all that money. They paid Mike Hilton. They paid all these dudes. They invested almost $100 million in their secondary over the past.
Awuzie played better today. Awuzie played better today. Awuzie played better today, but the others are.
He played better today. He played better today when it mattered. That's good. You know what I'm saying? But is he worth every nickel and dime that he's getting? You know what I'm saying?
No, but you know this. Everyone knows this. If you go to free agency to fill a hole, you're gonna overpay. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of cap casualties on this roster besides Tyler Boyd that people let go.
True. But you take it from the Chiefs, right? Take it from the Chiefs. The way the NFL is going to, we're going to make our offense as dominant as possible, and then we're just going to need our defense to bend our break. That's where the NFL is going to.
Yep.
So that's where we need to make sure that the most money is put into our offense and make sure our line is good for our franchise quarterback. We're not throwing out Sam Darnold. You're not putting Sam Darnold out there behind that line. Like, if you're throwing Sam Darnold out there, who cares about the line? He overachieved. Who cares? This is Joe Burrow. This is one of the top young quarterbacks in the league. I am not putting him out there with this line the way it is next year. you're not going to do that.
Yeah, because he's proven he can get you to there.
So
at all costs, like you said, you have to protect this man because this is your best shot. Because Finley, whoever the hell else you had slinging the rock a couple years is not doing it.
And so
no one else has done what he's done.
So Tyler Boyd had to be that casualty because you're not letting Jamar chase. Joe Burrow came in and said, "I want Jamar Chase in that draft." You're not letting Jamar chase him. And T. Higgins is proven that he can be that number 2 guy for him. So if Tyler Boyd has to be that casualty to go in order to make sure we protect this guy, sorry, Tyler Boyd. You had a great season. You helped us get to a Super Bowl.
I get what you're saying, but because of the cohesion, the continuity, and the offensive receiver room and their weapons, I don't think they're not gonna look at Tyler Boyd first and be like, hey, we're just gonna flat out trade you or cut you. They're probably gonna try and restructure his deal first.
Let me take a pay cut then. No, I'm not. All right, so I'm saying maybe trade him, get a second round pick if you can, because he'll be a nice wide receiver somewhere. I'm not saying just straight cut him, but let me ask you this: Jamar Chase or Tyler Boyd, if one had to go, who are you taking?
Yeah, is that even a question? I mean, Jamar Chase is a all-pro receiver as a rookie.
T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd?
T. Higgins seems like he's going to be the same thing. So T.
Higgins is C.J. Uzomah or Tyler Boyd?
C.J. Uzomah had some blow-up games this year. C.J. Uzomah is almost damn near 30. So there's not like a lot left in the tank that you can get out of this guy for years on end. You know what I'm saying? He just got good this year. I've never heard of this man until this season. He's been in the league for like a minute. You know what I'm saying?
The Boyd
was cooking last year.
Joe Burrow loves him. That's what matters. Joe Burrow loves him. When he needs that safety net, he would throw it to C.J. Uzomah.
And Joe Burrow loved Tyler Boyd last year. That was his man's last year. And Chase showed up.
Jamar Chase showed up.
The point I'm trying to make too is Burrow loves all his weapons. He can't show everybody love, but he loves all his weapons. And you think if it came down to Joe Burrow choosing Tyler Boyd or Chidobe Awuzie going out the door, he's going to check him.
Calm down, Jamal. No need to use some nine. You got it. All I'm saying is, hey, man. All right, so to wrap this session up, we're going to talk about what did this Super Bowl mean to each quarterback. So for Matthew Stafford, this is his last opportunity. Do you feel like it's what do y'all think this Super Bowl mean for Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford, this means everything. 13 years in the league. He finally got here. This is, I'm not going to say he's going to hang it up after this, but he wins this Super Bowl, like his conscience can finally, like he can be at rest. You're like, all right, I did it. I am good. I am one of the better quarterbacks that came out when I came out. I won a Super Bowl, like good. And I got my money. For Joe Burrow, honestly, like here's the scary thing, right? There's really no pressure. Like you're not supposed to be here. I mean, we expect you to be here like down the line. Right, and he's probably going to be back here in the next 10 years one more time, right? He'll get another shot. So for me, he's not going to say this, because he's probably not, but for me, it's just a learning experience, right? The lights are big. You get to feel everything. All right, cool. Been there, did that. So next time, I could really, because I don't know. The Bengals, that's a tough one. I think they're going to be overmatched pretty heavily because that Rams defense is a lot better than Kansas City's, like a lot. So, and it means way too much more for the Rams players too. Odell, Stafford, Darnold. I mean,
Ramsey.
Ramsey. This means way more to them. So, yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, like Howard said, I mean, dude, they sold their entire future. They literally put themselves in cap purgatory.
So I want to talk about the quarterbacks in particular, like Stafford and Burrow. What does this mean for them too?
All right, so for Stafford, like Howard said, it means everything to him. I mean, he's never been here before, but this is the reason why they bring him in here. This is the reason why what I was getting to was like, this is the reason why they mortgaged their entire future and put themselves in cap purgatory was to bring this guy in to get them here, which they couldn't get over that hump with Jared Goff. And they was never going to be able to do that with the limitations of his game. And Stafford doesn't have those limitations. So this means everything to him, the organization, the fans, everything. And like Howard said, he made a great point. I mean, nobody expects the Bengals to be here. They've over-exceeded expectations. So they're in a spot where, okay, we see where the ceiling of this team is.
Yep.
So we lose. Okay, we lose. But we're in a better situation than they are because our quarterback's like 10 years younger. Our receivers are young. The nucleus of the team is young and up and coming, and we've got a better cap situation. So where do we go from here? Because we see in the ceiling, it's a Super Bowl. The only way to go is up. So
Yeah.
I think that's what is at stake for them.
So for me, I'm gonna say for Stafford, it do mean everything. They brought him in. They did what they had to do to get him there for this moment because they saw that Jared Goff couldn't win the big game. So yes, I would agree with y'all with Stafford. But for Burrow, I'm not going to say that because if we think about it, who's truly in a better situation as far as next year? Stafford is, because the NFC is kind of weak. He got a chance to get back to this game. If you think about Joe Burrow is going to have to go through Pat again. He's going to have to go through Josh Allen. He's going to have to go through Lamar. He's going to have to go through a gauntlet in order to make it back to the Super Bowl. So I don't think this is just like Joe Burrow can just come in and learn. I think he got to give it his all because who knows? He may never get back there. You're not like going, this is the AFC of old where you have Brady, Peyton, Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. This is how the AFC is now, right now. So I think this is not just let Joe Burrow learn. I think Joe Burrow got to give it his all because if he don't win it now, who knows if he'll ever win one.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that. But I think that is an advantage for Joe Burrow over Matt Stafford, right? Because for the Rams, Matt Stafford cannot turn the ball over. Like, you cannot turn the ball over. Please stop turning the ball over, please. And for Joe Burrow, like those 50-50 throws, green light, man, throw it. What's the worst happens? I mean, if Ramsey's out there, maybe don't throw his way. But like T. Higgins, T. Higgins, like if he might have a step, might not, but he's in position, throw it. What's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? Stafford doesn't have that luxury. Every throw he makes in the Super Bowl is going to be under a micro. Like,
so are you saying that Stafford needs to have a perfect game per se to win?
Just don't turn the ball over. You can miss throws. Just don't turn the ball over.
His turnovers, they're kind of like crucial turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they're like that one he literally just had before the game was over. It was like game changing. So like Burrow, like you said, like if it's there, your receivers are so talented on the boundary. If you think it might be there, fuck it. What's the worst happening?
He comes down with it.
Yeah, he comes down with it. Like, they were on the 30-yard line, and all they needed was like 10 yards to get the first down to like continue to get in the red zone. And they threw three jump balls to Higgins and Chase. And Higgins almost came down with one. So it's like,
why not?
Because points are going to be hard to come by in this game because one, the Rams have home field advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Which is
even
crazy.
It's supposed to be neutral ground. It's at SoFi Stadium. They got home field advantage. And two, like you said, that defense is disgusting across the line. They are probably both teams are hungry, but it's a different level for the Rams because this has to happen. This has to happen. If it doesn't happen now, I don't know if they could get there again unless some kind of way they could keep that same squad together or something like that. But I don't know. But it has to happen at all costs. It has to happen like this time.
Facts. Well,
you can't squander this opportunity.
Yeah, facts. Well, this will wrap up this show. Thank you for tuning in to Stay in Bounds. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and make sure to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. This will do it for Howard K. Wall. I'm your host, Kari P. Thank you.